Welcome back, Nick Lenz, Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 940, 952, and Doubleshot number 846. Got two Justice League trades. First up, it is Justice League Volume 2, Graveyard of Gods. This collects Justice League Volume 3. I'm going to call it Volume 3 because, well, it's the third Justice League volume. Issues 8 through 12, and the two specials, the Justice League / Aquaman Drowned Earth special, and the Aquaman / Justice League Drowned Earth special. Yep, this continues right where the last story left off with the whole, let's mention the totality in here. Yeah, pretty much we have two new members to Legion of Doom. You have Cheetah and Black Manta. Yep, they're trying to open up something related to, well, space ocean gods. And Poseidon is basically trapped in some other dimension. It's implied he might be dead. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, and also we also have Firestorm here in here. And he gets mutated to a fish. Yep, we also see the return of Ocean Master for the first time since the Mirror Queen of Atlantis miniseries. Yeah, he was basically, in case you know what the miniseries was, it's basically Mira becoming Queen of Atlantis, and of course the return of Ocean Master for some Jeff Johns run. It ended with him being imprisoned because, well, he tried to do something he wasn't supposed to, like having his, forced to marry off his own sister, Tula. Yep. So yeah, basically in a way, Drowned Earth. That's the storyline that eventually leads into. It's kind of Scott Snyder's take. It's like his own version of Justice League Team, well, in a way, of crossover with Aquaman to deal with something related to Atlantis. It's the second time in DC Comics, for Justice League anyways, do something like this. So unlike with Dawn of Atlantis, where actually crossover with Aquaman, this book did not do that. Nope, the main story was told in Justice League, and Aquaman was treated as a tie-in book. Basically, if you want to know what Aquaman was up to, read his book. That's simply the gist of it. There was also an issue of Titans that actually led into the story. Yep. And they also have the Batman who last appears in here. Yeah, somehow Lex has hands on him and put him in chains. And it's never explained of how in the world he got his hands on him. My only guess is the reason why Scott Snyder threw him in here because, one, he created him, and two, he just loves his character so much he just uses him. So he forms sort of an agreement with him, and of course he tells him about the other dimensions related to, well, other stuff. Oh yeah, Batman's in here, in case you're wondering what the heck he's doing the whole story. Apparently, in the last story, he broke every bone in his body, and he's basically confined to a chair to protect what essentially is a cosmic doorknob called the Totality, which at the end, toward the end of the Drowned Earth story, the Legion of Doom take anyways. Yep. And I'm looking at the back of this trade. It's so funny that the Joker wears sneakers. Yeah. And in order to defeat these special space gods, well, they also have a Kraken beer in here because why the heck not? My only guess is the reason why Scott's not throwing a Kraken in here, and this is my personal theory, because a Kraken would just feature in the Aquaman movie, so why not have Aquaman take on a freaking Kraken? The other case, the film we actually teams up with the Kraken. This is a Death Kraken, which was summoned by Black Manta, and of course Black Manta tried to call off his association with the Legion of Doom, and of course nothing was going his way. He's like, hey Lex, can you give me a teleport, please? Like, I'm sorry, I got a bad connection here. I have to call you back. Yeah, that's probably Lex basically telling him just to screw off because, well, you told him to do that, so he'll do the same thing to you. And of course, the storyline with the whole Graveyard of Gods thing, that leads into Drowned Earth, which is a really damn good story. And it's so wonderful by Scott Snyder and James Tynion, with artwork by Francis Manipold, Howard Porter, yes, Howard Porter, with Mikel Janin, Jorge Jimenez, Fraser Irving, Bruno Renano, and Scott Gawowski. The cover art here is done by Mikel Janin. Yep. We're also doing the after effects of the first arc in here, which, not bad that Scott Snyder does that. And yeah, not much else to say. This is just really damn good. I'll give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is Justice League Odyssey, Volume 1, Ghost Sector. Yeah, this book actually came out late last month, but when this book originally came out, I couldn't find it at all at Barnes & Noble. I had to wait till I went to recently in order to get it. And Yeah. So this book basically contains the first 5 issues, just like Odyssey, and these are the only issues that the original writer of the series, Josh Williamson, wrote beforehand with Dan Abnett. Now, the thing with this series is this. It was initially supposed to be, like, on the cover here, you have initially supposed to be 5 people part of this team. Cyborg, Jessica Cruz, Starfire, Azrael, and Darkseid. But the whole thing with Darkseid, remember, that was actually a lie. He never actually joined his team. He's the one who brings the team together. So basically, the whole time, the group is comprised of 4 people. Cyborg, Azrael, Starfire, and Jessica Cruz, a.k.a. Green Lantern. Yep, there's at one point when they meet up with, well, Darkseid, and of course Jessica Cruz points out, though, last I saw you, you were a baby. Which is technically true, even though he gets turned back normal size in the pages of Wonder Woman. Yeah, that's James Robinson who did that. There's no reference there for some reason, I'm not sure why. Oh yeah, and also Josh Williamson brings over his artist from his Flash run, for his current Flash run, Carmine Del Gamakito. Yeah, with also work by Sajid Sepan, jeez, I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name, and Philip Barnes. Yes, and they have Cyborg actually fight Darkseid in here, and Cyborg points out Darkseid, we've never gone toe-to-toe before, so this is the first. Yeah, it's actually true. Cyborg and Darkseid have never fought before. Good job, Josh Williamson. That was actually a really brilliant idea. Even though it lasts for about a couple pages, but it's nice to see Darkseid say against someone else who's not Batman or Superman or even Wonder Woman. Cyborg is somebody he's never fought before. Brilliant. And of course, in case you wonder what the whole thing about Brainiac's spaceship, yeah, that comes into play in the first issue, and then it crashes on some planet they go to, and they get back in the ship by the end of the storyline. Now, as far as I can tell from members, it's just these 4. As far as I've heard, I don't think there's any plans to put any members in this team. I mean, I like the lineup, at least in the case of Cyborg. Now, in the case of him, now, they do reference him basically saying in the Justice League book he just got back from space. So it's probably after this arc and probably the next arc. Yeah, because Cyborg goes to space roughly like not long after the events of Justice League No Justice, which of course when Brainiac was killed. They also have a character named Rapture show up in here, who was later revealed to be freaking Brainiac. Somehow alive. As for Josh Williamson retconning his death like that, I'm not surprised. Especially since how Brainiac finds a way to come back anyways, despite the fact he's usually destroyed in almost every appearance he shows up in. Though Jeff Johns basically kind of confirmed that it was basically a bunch of robots whenever he changes his look. Yeah. The prior to this and No Justice, the last time Brainiac showed up in the comic book was actually in the second arc of Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps. Yeah, that was the last and official time Brainiac had shown up in the comic books. Yep. And they also have a storyline. The whole thing with Ghost Sector is that apparently Darkseid brought the Justice League with minus Jessica Cruz. That apparently this area has basically claimed Cyborg, Azrael, and Starfire to be gods. Now, I should point out, though, prior to this series, Azrael has never gone to space. Yes, that is indeed true. Azrael, this of course is John Paul Valley. Throughout his 11-year existence when he was originally alive, he has never gone to space. He's always stayed in Gotham City. He's occasionally gone outside Gotham City, but he's never gone to space. Putting him on Justice League Odyssey is actually kind of a neat idea, but it's probably a mild editorial mandate. You gotta have at least a Batman-related character in the Justice League book. Though if you look at Justice League Dark, there kind of is one in the form of Man-Bat, but DC loved Batman so much. Now, Azrael, I like his new look. It's a good look for him. Let's see if I can get, like, here right here. Here's basically his new look that Azrael has. It's a good, like, rendition. It's like good space armor for him. Cyborg, from what I can tell, looks like he got a new update look as well. Because here's kind of the weird thing. With the exception of his first from his ongoing series, he's generally had his basically look a guy in Forever Evil for the past, well, when this book came out like late last year, in 2018, he had the same look for mostly for 5 years. Yes, the look he basically normally had, like if you see him in Justice League, like when the book started, like just before the book got relaunched under Scott Snyder and James Tynion. Yeah, James Tynion did this too. He made, for some reason, the artist, for some reason, was not allowed to change Cyborg's look. Yeah, and as for his new look, I like it. I think it's a good look for him. Jessica Cruz, still pretty much the same look. In case you're wondering, what's going on with Simon Boz? Simon Boz does make an appearance in here in the first issue via some communication. And yeah, in case you didn't read the end of the Green Lantern series, Simon Boz and Jessica Cruz are no longer partners. I'm not really sure why DC thought it was a good idea, despite the fact their series was really good. I love the series, despite I haven't finished reviewing it, but it's really good. And the first couple issues in here, when they get to this planet, they come across the followers of Starfire, and they're all massacred. Okay, who actually killed them, believe it or not? It was actually somebody who was associated with people who worship Azrael. Okay, and of course they mentioned the Odyssey to Ma. Okay, that's quite interesting. Now, prior to this book, Azrael's last known appearance prior to this was in the pages of James Tynion's run for Detective Comics. That was the last time he was seen just prior to this. And as far as I know, he was not featured in Dark Knight's Middle or No Justice. So it's nice, though, that he was put in this book because Azrael is such a good character, so why not use him? Now I'm thinking that, okay, there has been technically a space-based Justice League before called Justice League United, originally by Jeff Lemire, and then taken over issue 11 by Jeff Parker. Similar idea, but they basically have base operations in Canada. Yeah, but their base aren't. This group is based upon Brainiac's spaceship, which Cyborg stole and painted flames on the side. Now, Jessica Cruz did know about this thing. Yeah, and also point out, though, Jessica Cruz is still technically a member of the Justice League. But she's not in the main book. Her being here is fine. I have no problem with that at all. Starfire and Cyborg? Not a bad idea. This is probably by far... I should point out that this is the first time I can think of, post-Flashpoint, they've been on a team together. Yes. Because generally, what has Starfire done in the past, let's say, 8 years? Well, she was over in The Outlaw, she got a solo book, and let's see, she got that. Then she was featured in Teen Titans. And now she's featured here. Because, generally put, Cyborg was kept away from people who are associated with the Teen Titans for just a long time. Well, the Marvel and George Perez run, they were kept away from him for such a long time, and now they're on a team together. Yes, so, as far as I can tell, this is the first time since, I think, when this came out last year, this is probably the first time since, I think, 2009 I could think of, where Cyborg and Starfire were in the same team together. Was it 2009? I think it was, yeah. Yeah, first time since 2009. Like these two were on the Teen Titans book when Jeff Johns revised the book in 2003. They were there for pretty much a majority of the first couple years of Jeff Johns' run. And then, of course, then she got moved over to the main Titans book, was done by Joe Winnick. And she was there for good about 2 years before... Well, actually about a year before it was changed to the whole thing of basically being villains for hire. So at least gotta praise Williams for putting these two on the same team together. Azrael, as far as I can tell, for an actual superhero team, this is the first time I can think of he's ever been part of one. Of course, Jessica Cruz, who of course was in the main Justice League book. But of course, the ending does have more stuff. They don't show what exactly that people who follow Azrael do, but they do show Cyborg's followers apparently build a whole city dedicated to him, which, okay. And of course, they mentioned that happened No Justice, where the planet called where Brainiac and Spin was destroyed by the Mega Titans, and apparently a bunch of worlds they kept held captive for years, and now they're trying to clean up the mess. And it was pointed out by Cyborg at the start of this series, the first issue, that he's out here to clean up the Justice League's mess they keep making out in space. He wants to clean up the mess they keep leaving, which I think is a good move. But who knows exactly what Dan Abnett is going to do. He took over issue 6. I think the reason why that Williamson left because of scheduling conflicts. I think so. Yeah. But I'm glad the fact got this book off the ground. And I'm going to give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Also, for some reason, that this book was originally supposed to come out in, I think it was May of last year, but for some reason was delayed till July. I'm not really sure why, because it was supposed to come out the same month as the relaunch of Justice League by Scott Snyder and the revived Justice League Dark by James Tynion IV. It was supposed to come out the same month, but was delayed for some reason, and those two books published more issues than this book has. Now, the main Justice League book is still coming out twice a month under Scott Snyder. Okay, this is actually not a bad idea, because keeping the same publication schedule the previous volume had, not a bad idea. This book publishing once a month is actually a good idea for this title to do. It does not need to publish twice a month, because DC, one thing I got praised by, they don't have to have every single damn title they publish come out twice a month. Marvel still has some of their titles, but they used to have one point almost every single damn title come out twice a month, which was quite stupid. Yeah. This title makes sense to come out once a month because it's a fresh new title. This title come out twice a month. It's fine because the past few years it generally has. So my guess is Scott Snyder, when he took over the book, he probably heard about the publication schedule for this book. But like, okay, I get it. You want to come out twice a month? Fine. Let's keep the publication schedule because the book's probably selling okay under Brian Hitch. I'm sure it's selling a lot better than Scott Snyder. And sales probably improve once Christopher Priest's book, even though his run was very brief. But Scott Snyder himself does a fantastic job with Justice League. We'll occasionally have James Tynion take over every other issue, which that's actually a pretty good idea, because Scott Snyder doesn't necessarily need to write every single issue, because the book comes twice a month, so why not? Williamson doing this book was a good move, especially since, well, people have been sort of... There was a big demand for Josh Williams to take over the main Justice League title. I actually spoke to him about this. He was a little bit surprised, but he may have heard from somebody else. And he did eventually do issues of the main Justice League book, though he did 2 issues. That probably gave DC confident enough to give him his own Justice League book. Probably not the main Justice League book, but gave him a Justice League book. But yeah, so this is good. I think the ending of itself sets up for something more related to Azrael, which I'm looking forward to when the next trade comes out. I'm not sure when it does come out, though. I have no idea. I have to check and see when it does. Oh, and I did check about the whole thing about the second volume, if there's going to be a second volume for Azrael, the one for the collecting the original volume of the series of Danny O'Neill. For some reason, I'm not sure why DC's done this. Okay, you released one volume in 2016. And you don't release another volume since then. It's been 3 years. Of course, I looked at Amazon. Looked like maybe there was, but nope. It was a joke. Yeah, it was a joke. The fact it's coming in 2035. I'm like, no, I don't think DC is going to wait that long to release another volume. My only guess is the reason why Azrael they get their trade release. This is my personal theory. Probably because the first one it wasn't like that big of a seller for them. That's probably the reason why there has been another volume released since then. That's my personal theory. Yeah. Yeah, but otherwise that's really it for this particular review. I have one more review scheduled for today. That's a review of the newest episode of Boruto. And after that, that'll be pretty much it for today. Tomorrow I have one video scheduled to record, and that's my review of the newest episode of Attack on Titan. We'll have to watch it first. Okay? I'll do this next review. Bye.